Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for hydrate, Toot. I don't know if my chat is working. Chat's working. Hello. Yes. Hello, hello. Welcome. Friday Night Crafty Chat with me and also with MoonPhased. Moon's going to be joining us very shortly here. You can see her stream up in the corner there. If you want to watch along, you can go to twitch.tv/MoonPhased. Here. I did that wrong platform. Hi, Charlie. Welcome to... Hold on one second. My chat is being a little bit strange here. Thank you for doing the shout out, dude. Okay, there we go. I don't know. For some reason, I could see Twitch chat, but I couldn't type in Twitch chat. It was very weird. But yes, hello. Hi, everyone. I can't remember. I can't remember what I was going to say. We are stitching tonight. It's Friday. We're going to get cozy. We're going to get comfy. We're going to do some cross stitch. And we have been gathering your questions, things that you're curious about, and things that I'm curious about. Quite a few of them are just questions that I came up with, but Moon and I are going to talk about them. So you're going to learn a lot about our different crafting styles, as well as our preferences and that stuff. And if you think of any questions while we're watching, while you're watching us, you can absolutely 100% ask them in chat. You're sitting at your chaos desk and stitching along. Excellent. Are you working on the squad ghouls? That's a really cute cross stitch piece. And if any of you are working on anything, please let me know. Sorry, just adjusting my mic a little bit. I don't want to drop any words. If you notice any weirdness, please let me... camera, thank you. Thank you, camera. Appreciate you. Okay. So yeah, if you're working on anything, love to you. It says I'm doing these heckin' quarter stitches on this ghosty. Toot is working on a new set of little tiny ghosts. Like, they're really small. The last one was like 250, 300 stitches, and this one is about 800 stitches, but they're these little ghosts from Mama Witch. And they're absolutely adorable, but they do have quarter stitches and back stitches. So they're slightly fiddly. Bibliocat, welcome in. You're knitting your second fingerless mitt, just finished the thumb. Awesome. Are those the ones that you shared in the server with like the garter stripes? Very cool looking. Gwen, hello, welcome in. Toot cursing French knots. Pecan Pie, welcome. Hello to you too, Gwen. is Toot being non-monogamous. So what Toot has decided to do is they have their big full coverage project, but every day that is a multiple of 5, so today's the 20th, therefore it's a multiple of 5, they are taking a break to work on a small ghosty. If they finish their ghosty on the day that is a multiple of 5, they're going to help me out with shop samples, or do another small. That is the system, just to try and get them through the green and brown miasma that is Raccoon Family. I mean, the piece is going to look fantastic, and they're doing a great job on it, but I can understand the need for a break. I'm being shutting down. Toot says, I'm being monogamous with self-care. Yes, it is with self-care. And you can see on the critter cam, we have Yuna visiting us. That is Moon's little tortie, Yuna. Getting some treats. So Moon's gonna hop on with us in just a few minutes here. Thought we'd just hang out, say hi to our individual communities. Yeah, Pecan Pie, that's Yuna. So if you watch Moon on the reg, so she streams usually 3 times a week, and it's mostly gaming with a little bit of cross-stitch, but Yuna usually makes an appearance because she knows that when her mama says, hello everyone, that means that it's stream time and she might get treated. So she appears out of nowhere. I don't know why I don't have a cat on my desk quite yet. I don't know if they figured out that I'm streaming. It's usually when I'm streaming, they all must be involved. Pull up. There you go. You can get a better view of Yuna there. With the Yuna emotes. So yeah, it has been a heck of a week. The last time I saw you guys was Monday, and then I've basically been off the radar since then. I don't want to go into the whole thing. Toot and I have had a big busy week. We've had some medical news, we've had some wonderful news, some very disappointing news. It's just been a packed week of emotions. So hopefully things are calming down now, and we're going to be able to get some stuff sorted out. A big part of our life is in limbo. Basically, we've been on one government benefit program, and now I have permanent disability support, which is great, but I don't know any details about it, so we're kind of in limbo until we can figure that out. But yeah, but we've just been dealing with a lot of like that kind of big life stuff, which is why I've been kind of quiet on the Discord. I almost postponed stream tonight because I just overwhelmed, but I've been really looking forward to this because I love doing a joint stream with Moon. I love sitting down with you guys, and I think this one's going to be really fun. I like the questions I put together, and some people from our community have also chimed in with several really good questions, so that's going to be fun. Almighty Titty asked a question that I'm pretty sure is a meme that I just don't get, so we'll get into that later. I asked you what you guys were working on, and then I got distracted before I told you what I'm working on. I am working on Those Who Wait. This is a pattern by Buoy, apparently, because my brain just saw that. Hello, Cheryl, welcome in. This is a pattern by Heather from Stitchwit. So, it is an almost full coverage pattern. There are spaces where the Ada is left blank, kind of as like a fifth color. But other than that, it's full coverage. And it is quite large. No worries, you're never late. You're never late. You are actually just in time because we're gonna hop on call with Moon.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you
fantastic. I can hear you. Can my chat hear you is the question.
hear me?
How is Moon's voice level there?
Yes, and in my chat as well, how is DH's voice level there?
Perf. Gwen says perf. Charles says I can hear.
Amazing. We love that.
Toot says hi Moon. Gwen says hi Moon. And Toot says hydrate.
Yes. Toot also says hydrate. And Toot says hi DH. And hi Gwen.
Maya says everyone sounds great. I just sipped way too fast on my Coke.
Oh no. Don't choke. Don't choke without an H on the Coke.
It's okay. I managed to turn my mic off before I had a coughing fit. We got that the Oreo flavored Coke, and I'm just finishing it off.
How is that?
It's weird. It's like it definitely tastes like Coke and Oreos, but it doesn't taste like Oreo Coke. You know what I mean? It's not one flavor. It's two very distinct flavors. Like it's like you just ate a bunch of Oreos and you've still got the cookie part stuck in your teeth, and then you took a big swig of Coke.
That does not sound nice. But if you're still drinking it, I'm assuming it's not that bad.
I wouldn't say it's nice, but I wouldn't say it's like not nice either. They've definitely had weirder combinations.
DH is a bit louder than Moon. Alright, let me adjust that. Thank you, Anna.
I'm too loud.
Microphone too high quality.
I know. Actually, the microphone is like right next to my face right now because I'm trying to like
speaking into it like a
I'm like a pro streamer now.
You're a radio host now.
Yeah.
Podcast host?
Yeah, that's how I feel, definitely, actually.
What are you working on tonight, DH?
Oh. I was just about to ask you the same thing. I am working on Those Who Wait, which is a almost full coverage pattern from Stitchwit, and it is alien themed, of course. And what are you working on, Moon?
I am working on Kawaii Baphomet by a pattern by Wild Bluebells cross stitch on Etsy.
Nice.
And I was missing a color back when I put it down, like I think about a week ago, because apparently I didn't look at the pattern properly or order the right amount of floss, or something happened that I didn't order 550. And I was so annoyed that I wasn't able to continue with the 550 as I wanted to do, that suddenly all of the other like flosses that I could have continued with, my brain was just like, no, you don't have 550, you don't touch it anymore.
Yeah.
But now I have 550, so I'm continuing.
Yay.
Hell yeah.
I've definitely had moments like that where it's just been like, I know that I could just do something else, but my brain is like, no, you must do it in this order and this order only.
We're gonna be working on Affy's horns tonight with the 550, actually.
Alright.
It's gonna be very cute.
I am going to continue working on the diagonal. So you guys can see there's a very sharp diagonal here. I'm doing the cross country on the diagonal method. What is the name of the account? Thread the Needle, I think, that I got the idea from. Anyways, Toot says, but now we could run to Michael's. That's very true. The car is up and running and beautiful. We took her to Walmart yesterday. Just, oh, so good. Like,
yeah, I've been wanting to. Oh, go ahead.
It's if you had the freedom of a car and then you couldn't use it for 2 years and you had to rely on Uber for 2 years, just that feeling of being able to drive again, it's so good.
It says Baffy is looking so cute. I love them. They are really looking cute. Like those pastel shades and the art style, just chef's kiss.
Yeah, that one is a very cute one. Dude says beautiful is a strong word for the poor baby. Yeah, I know. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen a car that's been sitting without moving in a parking garage for 2 years, but she dusty. She dusty. We actually couldn't find her in the parking lot because she's a metallic peacock is the name of the color. So it's like this brilliant iridescent blue-green. But she looks gray, like a gray brown right now because she's so dirty. So we couldn't see her in the parking lot because we didn't recognize her.
Oh,
I know.
I can understand. Like, it's literally like it looks like a different color.
Yeah. Well, Moon's community and my community have come together to ask us a bunch of questions about cross-stitch. I'm gonna do my first little stretch break in about 10-12 minutes, but I think we have time to get into our first question before then, if you're ready.
Absolutely. What do you want to start with?
So I have a list. I have a whole list.
I also have an unofficial list that I will just be reading off Discord.
Oh, you got the list from Des? I folded those into my question.
Oh, perfect then. Oh my god, you're amazing.
And I put it in Notion, so
organized. So organized.
I know. I could be organized about some things. So we'll start off with a question that both Des and Titty asked, and that is, what got you into cross stitch in the first place? Was it something specific you saw? So
you can definitely start because mine is going to be a short answer.
Mine is also a short answer because the fact is I don't remember. I learned to cross stitch when I was a little kid. So I used to do like a lot of plastic canvas and needlepoint. My mom did needlepoint for a really long time. So like I learned to cross stitch when I was a wee child. So I don't remember what first made me want to learn, but this most recent time that I got back into it, it was because Toot picked it up again, and Toot picked it back up again because she wasn't really able to comfortably crochet anymore and wanted something to do with her hands. So she got back into cross stitch, and then I saw the cool stuff that she was finding on Etsy, and I was like, I want in on this. So yeah, that's how I first learned, and then that's how I got back into it.
Yeah, and my very quick and easy answer is it's Toot and DH's fault.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they were getting into cross stitch, and of course they were like finding all of those cute patterns on Etsy and showing me, and I was like, those are very nice pictures and I would love to do it, but you know me, as an ADHDer, I'm sure that other people with ADHD can relate. It's very easy to find a hobby and buy a bunch of shit for it and then do it for 2 weeks and never touch it again. Toot says #blame Toot. Absolutely. Toot is entirely to blame for DH and I's descent into cross stitch.
Yep.
So yeah, I was kind of concerned that it would just be like, oh yeah, I really want to do this, and then I pick up like all the materials and I just start the pattern and never touch it again. Like never even finish one pattern. That's what I thought I would do.
Yeah,
And
I
Toot and DH
remember
kind of like
you
convinced me.
feeling like that.
Thank you for the hydrate, Toot.
Yes, thank you for the hydrate, Toot. BiblioCatNits agrees and says that they're looking at their craft stitch graveyard, their craft supply graveyard, and no, totally can't relate.
Yep. So that's what I was really concerned about, and what Toot and DH told me to kind of like sell me in on it was basically, you know, compared to other crafts, cross stitch is very cheap. You only have to get the floss and the fabric. And that's pretty cheap because you can usually use it for like multiple projects. And I was like, you know what? I'm in.
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't a lie. It is one of the cheapest hobbies to try. You know what I mean? Like it can definitely get expensive down the line, but to just try it for the first time, it's one of the cheapest.
Yep. Like my first pattern was from by Meg C on Etsy, and it was the Ghost of Doom, I think she calls her pattern.
Witchy Ghost of Doom, I think it was.
Yes, Witchy Ghost of Doom.
And that was actually the next question, was what was your first project?
Yes, so that was my first project, and it did turn out very cheap because it was a pattern with 4 colors in it, I think, or 5, like super minimal amount of colors. Like there was only like the colors, the Ida. I already had like embroidery hoops at my place from when I, you know, tried to pick up embroidery.
Heck embroidery.
And yeah, heck it. And so yeah, it was very cheap to pick up, and that was my first one. I never framed it because I had cut the Ada too short. So it would be quite a pain to like finish into something. And also like it's full of visible flaws, but I'm keeping it as a, you know, memory.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's something cool that you made with your own hands.
Absolutely.
So my answer is, if we go back to when I first learned to cross stitch, I have no idea what it was. I've no idea. Like it was so far in the distant past. But this most recent round, when I picked it back up, the first thing I did was a mini acorn wreath by Mama Witch Cross Stitch, and it was super small. It's like, it's only like maybe 2 inches around on 14 count Ada. But so when Toot picked it back up, they picked up a kit just to see if like they wanted to get into it, and then they decided that yes, they did. So I was like, I'm gonna try the same thing. I'm gonna pick just like a little pattern and try that with some supplies we had around. I think I picked up like 2 things of floss for it. And yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, no, I like this. And then I started getting into bigger projects after that.
Bigger projects. Yeah. Looks down on your hands.
Yup. Like this big boy.
Yeah. Toot says, to be fair, it would be cheap if you stopped starting full coverage. And
yeah.
I hate that I'm getting called out by Toot right now, because it's true.
This entire stream is going to be us getting called out by not only Toot, but everyone in chat. That's
true. Yep. And yeah, because like you guys have maybe seen Unseelie, and obviously she is a full coverage, and she has 70 colors, some of which have like numerous skeins, like up to 5, I think, that you need to purchase. And at that time, I bought 1 of every skein because I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna like bite the bullet and like do it. So it was quite the pricey like project to purchase, because it was the pattern, the fabric, and the floss for Unseelie, and there was a lot of floss for it. So that's
yeah, and the fabric was quite a big piece of fabric, if I remember.
Yes, that indeed, yes. So like on Stitchwit, Heather like has multiple sizes available for Zweigart, And I know that since Unseelie is a full coverage, I wanted to get an easy grid fabric. So I was looking at the 20 count and the 18 count, and the smallest size of fabric for the smallest dimensions, I mean, were too small, like just a few inches too small to fit Unseelie, so I had to go with the biggest. And since it was the biggest dimensions, it was a $60 piece of fabric, which, as far as Ada goes, that's a pretty expensive like piece of fabric. Granted, for the size, it's not that bad, but still,
yeah, you got like a blanket of fabric for that. But,
oh yeah. I opened, when I got the second piece for Rose Library, I opened it and I just like held it up to my height to compare. It gets to like my chin, from the floor to my chin. It's so big. It could be a blanket if it was, you know, good fabric and not scratchy Ada. Yeah, so yeah, with the fabric like needing to be like a big chunk of it, all the floss colors, like it did turn out to be a pretty like upfront purchase. But like the way that I see it as well is like, when you shop for a full coverage, how long are you gonna work on this? Like,
yeah, like
years. So it's basically like an investment.
Yeah. If you think about it in terms of how much you're spending per hour of entertainment. And also, hi,
exactly.
Quarter Stitch. Welcome in.
Yes.
Quarter Stitch joining us over on YouTube.
Yes, and hi, Fury, joining me on Twitch.
Hello, Fury.
Thank you for the hydrate as well. I forgot to, I pulled a typical Moon and forgot to update the question of the day.
I remembered to update my hydration of the day.
Nice, good job.
Yeah. Well, actually, Quarter Stitch, you're joining me right as we're getting ready to take our first stretch break. We've just been talking a little bit about our first experiences with cross stitch, and I'm going to take a 3-minute break. If you're watching on Twitch, I'm going to run 3 minutes of ads. Otherwise, just take a minute, stretch, washroom, whatever you need to do. And Moon, I will be back with you in 3 minutes with some questions.
Perfecto. I'll be there.
All right, I will see you guys in 3 minutes.
Alrighty. But yeah, you guys. So yeah, when I started, like when I got the material for Unseelie,
right, welcome back, everyone. Hope you enjoyed your little break. Let's check in with Moon and see how she's doing.
Here, let me switch the screens real quick.
Hello.
Hello.
We're back.
I'm showing. Yeah, welcome back. I'm showing Chat's Rose Library.
Okay. I'm gonna show Chat Rose Library as well because oh my heck. If you guys haven't seen this full coverage pattern, come on. Switch, please.
Yeah. It's so pretty. Like, and I was telling them that like I was hesitating between this pattern and another one, and you were telling me essentially that this is like polar opposites with Unseelie, because Unseelie is such dark colors. Like it's mostly like dark blacks, grays. There is a cream border and some splashes of orange, but it's very dark. It's very somber in colors. Whereas this is just so bright. There's like a bright green in the middle. There are so many pinks. The bookcase is like bright still, and there's so much light coming from the windows. And a thing that is surprising is that there is absolutely no black in it. No 310.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, it's true. It's not in the floss list.
That's amazing.
Gwen says it's so cute and massive. Yes, it is massive.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking, and I'm gonna do it on 20 count, so it is a bit smaller than this. But for 18 count, it was 34 inches by 24 inches.
Yeah,
which is huge.
Big boy. Big boy.
Yes, it's gonna be many years of work, but I'm excited to get her started. And yeah, the number of colors were 120 colors. So I was like, I'm not getting all this up front. I can't.
Especially because you're not going to use all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I love the idea of having all the material at once, but it just doesn't make sense at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. So the artist on that one is Ivy Dollamore, and I believe they were with Hade, and then now they're with Unconventional Cross Stitch and Charting Creations, I want to say. But like
they do have some patterns with Charting Creations.
Unconventional Cross Stitch has some, and then Charting Creations has different ones. So if you like the art style, you can check out both sources for full coverage. And yeah, there's one of hers called Warm Witch that it's high. It's high on my list of full coverages to start after I finish the boy that I'm working on.
Beyonce says, I don't need a third full coverage. I don't need a third full coverage.
Beyonce, you need a third full coverage.
You do. Especially,
you need a third full
you definitely don't have anything like this that's in that color palette, you know?
So, yeah, for sure.
Yep. You should do it.
This is not the place to come if you don't want to be enabled.
No, we are massive enablers.
Oh, 100%. We will cave under no pressure to anything.
Beyonce says, don't do that to me, y'all.
All right, you ready for some more questions?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you this next question, and then I'm going to not let you answer until I explain Chats what the question means. So the question
Beyonce says, I've been working on Nebula for like 4 years now. I need to finish it eventually. Yep, that's a full coverage project. That sounds like a full coverage.
Yes, it does.
But yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So, do you primarily stitch English or Danish? Now, before you answer, I will explain to the non-stitchers in chat. These are two different styles of stitching. Basically, in English, you make each little X individually. Whereas in Danish, you can see me doing it right now, is basically you go across a line doing one leg of the stitch, and then you go back doing the second leg of the stitch. So that's just two different
what I'm doing
methods.
Currently.
Yeah, so which one do you usually do?
Definitely more Danish than I do English. I like the satisfaction of going across a row and coming back. It's just, the motion feels so fluid. However, they are just pieces that lend themselves to English more.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like a full coverage that would have a lot of confetti. I don't imagine that I could do a lot of Danish on. Like there are some colors so far for Unseelie that, you know, the stitches are just so far apart from each other that I would just do them English.
Hello, Ferris Domino. Welcome in. And yes, I agree. So Ferris says, I've been stitching since I was a kid, and I never knew there were names for those two ways to stitch. And I also did not know that until earlier this year. And the only reason that I remember the difference between the two and which one is which is because I knit English, but I stitch Danish. So that's how I remember which one is which. Beyonce says, as a cross-stitcher, I needed the reminder because I was sitting here thinking, why would the language matter? But yeah, I had no idea that there were different names for those two different methods. But my answer is also pretty much the same as Moon's. I like doing Danish when it's practical. Although I am leaning more towards English. However, I think you can't really see it, but on big blocks of color like this, I feel like Danish is just a little bit neater when you're doing like a large chunk of colors. But like you said, for full coverage or even some of the smalls that I'm working on, sometimes English is just better for speed and getting around the piece more easily.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I also find that like in certain cases, doing each stitch individually can make the back less bulky because you don't have those long floats going between sections. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
If a piece like for example, here between Baffy's eyes, I would be filling in with white. But for me, it wouldn't quite make sense to do Danish like across the eyes, if that makes sense, because then the back of the eyes would just get covered with floss with the white. So I would probably tend to do Danish like around the eyes. So like go up here and then do like all of this and just like, you know, go between without going behind the big chunks.
Yeah,
Because,
like trace
it would make the back
around.
really,
yeah,
essentially. Yeah.
Bear says, my mom taught me Danish, and that's the way that I prefer. I feel like Danish is maybe more old-fashioned, because almost everyone that I've talked to, that's how they learned how to do it from their mother, their grandmother, whoever taught them when they were a kid. So I don't know if it's always been that way or if that's just the people I've talked to. And Bibliocat says, I didn't know the names, but I'm amused to discover, despite being English myself, I reject those methods. Cross-stitch is Danish, knitting is continental. And Cheryl does chaos stitching.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I like to do what I call, or actually what Gwen called chaos Danish at some point. Chaos
Danish?
Yep, which is essentially like those stitches are not in a straight line, but I will go across all of them with a half stitch and make my way back across with another half stitch, which is actually exactly what I'm doing right now. Yeah. So like there's like some purple in the horn here, and instead of like, I don't know, continuing all the way up, I'm just gonna like continue, go down, go right, and come back to like cross stitch all of that afterwards.
That makes sense.
Because it just makes sense to me to like go back and forth, to travel back and forth instead of traveling from point A to point B.
Yeah. I was, for some sections of this big orange block, I was actually doing English, so just doing one cross at a time, because I was getting a little bit bored, to be honest. And someone had said that when they're doing big chunks of color and they get bored, what they'll do is they'll like stitch like a letter or something, like just stitch some words in and then like fill around them so the words disappear.
Oh,
so I was
that's
like,
cute.
Or like they'll do little shapes and then fill in the shapes and things like that. So I was kind of playing with that, but and like from a distance, from if you're not like, you know, staring at it close like you are when you're stitching it, there's no difference whatsoever. But I can see the difference between the two sections, so I went back to Danish. because I think it's a little bit neater.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like it's funny because as a cross stitcher, we work really close to our pieces, but obviously no one is gonna look at them that close after us. But I also feel the same way. Like I like when my stitching is neat.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've heard people describe it as like the galloping horse rule is if you can't see the mistake from the back of a galloping horse, don't worry about it. But I prefer, like, I have my own twist on that, which is the punch in the face rule. And if they're close enough to your stitching to notice the mistake and comment on it, they're also close enough to punch in the face for commenting on it. Thank you for the hydrate, Toot.
Thank you for that hydrate, Titty. Titty says the mobile is broken. Seeing yesterday's chat. Oh no.
Oh no.
That must be pretty funny though.
I know, yesterday's chat was definitely a different vibe.
Yeah.
Moon was playing Lethal Company yesterday.
Yeah, which is always some good chaotic fun. Beyonce says, oh my god, yes, I see every mistake and my mom is always like, it's fine. Yep. Thank you for the posture check, Fury.
Everything. I have to move my list because I'm covering up chat with it. Hang on. There we go. Okay. Aha. I have a list now. Beyonce likes the punch in the face rule.
Yes, I like it too. Titty says, I was confused. Why is Pickles talking about killing me? We're just chilling, cross-stitching, and Titty's like fearing for his life.
Oh yeah, that's right. Quartershit says Danish Chaos would be a great band name.
Ooh,
so yeah, that's gonna be our next band name. And Cheryl says the last piece I started, I made a huge counting mistake at the beginning, but it's trees and they can be all kinds of shapes. I just worked around it and can't see it now. Good. Yeah, happy little trees. There are no mistakes.
Happy little accident, like Bob Ross would say.
Exactly.
Also, welcome in, Rainbow. How are you doing?
So I've got Chaos Danish. Sounds like an interesting breakfast, Cheryl says. It's a Danish, but you don't know what's in it, and neither does the person baking it.
Titty says we make a metal band named Pickles Killing Titties.
That sounds like a line of very strange toys. Of Cats versus Pickles.
Oh my god. That's true. Yep.
All right, I've got a few favorites questions for you.
Ooh, yes.
What is your...
I am terrible at favorites, but I will do my best.
I know, so am I. Like, I don't even know the answers to some of these for myself, and I'm the one who made the list. What is your favorite current project to stitch on, and why?
My current favorites would have to be Baphomet, because it's kind of closer to what I'm used to in terms of like the amount of colors, the amount of color blocks, like the complexity of the pattern and all that stuff. And also I'm doing it for a dear friend, so I have like that motivation of like every time I work on it, like I'm thinking about them and it makes me really happy.
That's cute.
What about you?
I know this is going to seem like a weird coincidence, but Those Who Wait, the one that I'm also currently working on, is probably my favorite thing to stitch on at the moment, because it's not my preferred fabric count. It's an 18 count, and I usually go for a 14 count. But I find with the Zweigart, it's soft enough that like I'm not fighting with it. And I just, I don't know what it is, if it's the big blocks of color or just the way that I'm doing it. I get into such a zone with this that I can easily sit here and do 500 stitches without blinking. Like it's so meditative a process for me. I think because there are so few colors that it really feels, I don't know, like, yeah, meditative or contemplative is a good word for it. So
Gwen is in my chat saying Celtic witch.
Oh, that's because Gwen can't say that in my chat. The The word
have you banned the words Celtic witch?
I have.
No way.
No particular reason. I mean, I have no idea what Gwen's talking about.
I'll ban it here too. That's what Toot said. Toot has mod powers everywhere. Also, hi Danny. And Rainbow says
Charles beating the ban here, managing to say Celtic witch anyways.
They're onto you. I just want to motivate you, you know?
I know. You will see it by the end of the year. I have you a promise. You will see Celtic witch by the end of the year. But for right now, she is in timeout and she knows what she did to get there.
Yeah. Rainbow says that they're doing very fine, revisiting their novel again. Oh, nice. How is that going?
And hello, Danny. Welcome to my chat. All right, so we both kind of touched on this in our answer to favorite current project, but what is your favorite fabric to stitch on and why?
I honestly haven't tried many fabrics yet. I've basically tried 14 count DMC Ada and off-brand Ada and 20 count Swigart. Oh no, I've also done 14 count Swigart as well. I think that's what my the Deadly Aquarium is. But yeah, so I haven't really tried many counts of fabrics or kinds of fabrics. Like I haven't tried linen yet. I haven't tried like even weave. That's pretty much all I've stitched on is Ada of different counts.
Okay. Which count is your favorite though out of the different ones you've tried?
I would say that I think my sweet spot would probably be 18, which I've never stitched on. Because it's out of stock everywhere apparently. Like the Easy Grid 18 count guys, nowhere has it. It's crazy.
It's impossible to find.
So I haven't actually tried it, but like when I stitched on 20 count, I really like how dainty the stitches are and how like easy it is to like make abstraction of the pixels because of how small they are. But it is a bit difficult to get like you know when like there are already 3 threads in one hole. Getting the 4th one in there is like it jams, you know, it's kind of like tight.
Sure.
So like I think that 18 would be like the perfect sweet spot for me.
Makes sense.
What about you?
Charles is being a little brat in my chat. And Ferris says, I got a whole boatload of what I'm pretty sure is Ada from my mother-in-law. I have no idea the brand, but it's what I'm using right now. And Toot says, imagine stitching on gridded Ada. Couldn't be me. I know. But I would honestly say, so like I have tried linen. I've tried 18 count, 16 count, 14 count, 11 count. My sweet spot is 14 count black Ada from Amazon.
From Amazon because it's crunchier?
Yeah, because it's crunchier. It's yeah.
That's another thing as well. Like the softness of the fabric that you like. Because I know that some people really love soft fabric. Like linen is very soft. And by soft I mean like how well it holds together, not like how actually like soft it is to the touch. Like there are some there's like some Ada brands that like you hold like a sheet and it just like won't move. Like it's almost like plastic with like how stiff it is.
Like
and then there
really
are other
stands
ones
up on its own.
Yeah, and then there are other ones that are just like
they're drapey.
I don't know, cloth. Yes, yeah. Drapey is a good term for it. And I think that like DMC is kind of in between. Dawn Man from Amazon is like crunchy.
Yeah.
And then Swigart is very soft, very drapey. And I think that like I don't really enjoy stitching on the drapey Aida, funnily enough.
Yeah.
I have to have it like very tight in the frame because I don't enjoy when there's give in the fabric.
Which is exactly what I'm running into right now. Like, I don't know if you guys can see on the screen, but there's too much give in here. So my chat has a lot of good things to say about that I'm going to read about Ada choices. But Charles just made me snort coffee up my nose by saying Brat Charles Autumn. So that's the vibe we're going into autumn with.
Brat Charles Autumn. I love that.
Beyonce never heard of gridded Ada before. Yes, so I think it only exists in white, but it's got a very light blue or light gray grid printed on it that washes away in hot water. So basically you stitch the project and then you wash it in hot water and the grid goes away. And Ferris is doing a piece on Black Ada right now.
Love Black Ada.
Toot says, if my fabric isn't causing paper cuts, I don't want it. Yeah, Toot likes the crunchiest of crunchy Adas.
Yeah. And it's funny because sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying Charlie really likes even weave and linen. Ada 90% of the time feels too rough on your hands. Interesting. I haven't tried even weave. I did not care for linen at all because I found it very difficult to figure out where to put my needle. But I haven't tried even weave yet. And Gwen says the stuff I'm using for Fine Frog is so drapey, you have to stretch it so much in the hoops. Yeah, that's the issue. Like, to get it taut enough, it requires a lot more effort. Whereas if it's the stuff that Toot and I get from Amazon, like you can stitch it in hand and you've got that tautness.
Yeah. Toot says in my chat, very demure, very mindful, not polite. And Rainbow says, I went back to the beginning with some new learning. Now at chapter 2. Very satisfied with the results so far. I bet you would like it. Nice. I'm super happy that you're able to revisit your writing like that.
Yeah. That's great. We support all types of crafting here.
Absolutely.
All creativity.
At all costs.
Okay, so well, first I'm going to see what Farrah said. Farrah said I've been stitching a lot out of hoops, so yeah, you'd have to have it stiff to do that. Yeah, exactly. So stitching in hand that's one term for stitching not in a hoop or a frame when you just hold the fabric. I find that difficult because I have issues with my hand. Like you can see right now, I've got a little bit of a tremor going on. And my hands just get very achy if I try and stitch in hand. But a lot of people do it with absolutely no problem. I saw someone doing like a long dog sampler, stitching it completely in hand, which is a massive piece. So yeah, a lot of people do that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of, well, not a lot. I've seen some videos on YouTube that were essentially showing how to stitch in hand and also showing how to soften your Ada if like you're one of the people who like their Ada more drapey.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Why would you do that? No.
Yeah,
it's definitely all preference stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of these questions are more like just preference stuff. So yeah, the next favorite is, what is your favorite finished project and why?
Oh, go ahead, because you finished far more projects than I have.
So I actually wasn't sure about this one because I finished a lot of cool stuff. And now I'm completely blanking on every piece I've ever finished. I think the finish that I'm most proud of is Deadly Aquarium because it's the biggest one and also something that I like kept up momentum on. But there have been a bunch of smaller finishes that I've really enjoyed as well. The other one that was just like a huge piece and I was super proud of myself for finishing was my snake in lavender wreath from Wild Bluebell Patterns.
I remember.
Yeah, so I'd say that's probably my favorite, like finished up and mounted and hanging cross stitch piece right now. I did just finish a shop sample that I adore, but I can't show you guys because it's a shop sample for something that hasn't gone up in the shop yet. So that would also be like top 3.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Beyonce says, I softened the Ada Nebula piece, and I've never regretted something more.
Oh, no.
I can understand, like, because now it's like less, it holds itself less. But it's such a shame too, because you said it's a full coverage that you've been working on for 4 years. Aw. It's unfortunate that you have to suffer the consequences of your fucking around and finding out. But yes, my favorite, oh my god, Beyonce says, yeah, 67,000 stitches.
Oh god.
Hang in there.
You got this.
You got this. But yes, my favorite finish, I think, would have to be, I basically only have 3 finishes, like fully 3 FFOs. Like, I'm so bad because I've finished more pieces than that, but...
Well, finishes or FFO. So FFO is a fully finished object. So like we consider cross stitch finished when you're done the stitching, but fully finished is like when it's in a frame or when it's been made into a pillow or a pincushion. Like whenever it's been finished into its final display form is when it's fully finished. So that's the difference between an FO and an FFO.
Yeah. Okay. So then in that case, my favorite fully finished would have to be my Gengar and Clefairy piece, because to this day it is the biggest piece that I've finished. It was not that big, like all things considered, like 14,000 stitches.
That's
but it was my
really
second
big.
project. Yeah, it is. It was my second project. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I was just thinking, like, I want to cross stitch something for my friend's birthday, and in August I started something for, was it in August? I think it was in July. Maybe July. I'll give myself some grace, but it was in July, and I told myself I want to cross stitch something for my friend's birthday, her birthday is September 28th. And I picked that pattern for some godly God fucking knows why. I was just like, this is good. I'm gonna stitch all of it.
Yeah, that's the queer audacity and not knowing.
Yep. It was a lot of stitching. But I really loved it when I finished it. I was really proud of it because it was my second piece. It was the first piece I was framing, and she really loved it. So I think that, like, obviously that's a good memory for me. And my favorite finish that hasn't been made into an FFO yet would be, I suppose, Coffee Bob.
Okay,
I think that I've stitched it on stream before, but I just love the image of him. Like, it's basically like a coffee cup pouring into a skeleton head with an open brain cap. And we love Coffee Bob. I want to frame him and put him in my kitchen sometime.
Oh, that would be good. I still have to, because I did Cozy Bob, who is a skeleton drinking a PSL. He still hasn't been finished. I want to finish him and put him in my kitchen as well, because I have a little finished Hocus Pocus I Need Coffee to Focus cross stitch hanging in the kitchen over the coffee making station. So I want to have Cozy Bob and Sweaty Bob hanging over there as well. Sweaty Bob is Cozy's Bob. Cozy Bob's like summer friend.
They can be cousins.
Toot in my chat saying I fucking hate French knots.
Yeah. I don't think anyone loves them.
I know.
They're kind of like the hated cousin of cross stitch.
Yep. They look good and you sometimes need them, but like nobody enjoys making them.
Nuh-uh. Beyonce in my chat says about the Nebula piece, I keep starting more whips to avoid it.
That is heckin' valid. That is heckin' valid.
I don't blame you at all.
Oh, Ferris actually has a good tutorial for French knots, but yeah, I feel you. You actually like them? Okay. No judgment here.
Listen, we found someone who likes French knots.
Like the other day when I said that I like chocolate covered jujubes, and Moon said that she had always wondered what kind of person would actually enjoy them.
Yep. Because I worked at Bulk Barn while I was in university, and I worked there for 2 years. And every time I would pass that bin, I would look at them and I was like, who likes jujubes covered in chocolate? Like,
I do.
Who buys those? And swear, I swear, DH, the only people I ever saw purchase them in my shop were elderly people.
Listen. Hello, Lillian. Welcome in. I am working on a cross-stitch piece called Those Who Wait. You can see a picture of it up on the screen. And we're hanging out with MoonPhased, who's working on a piece called Kawaii Baphomet.
Thank you for the hydrate fear, by the way.
Bear says, once I figured out how to do them without losing my knot all the time, they were a lot less frustrating. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure, like, if you do them enough, they get a lot easier. I just haven't had a pattern where I have to do them very much. So,
I actually haven't had a pattern where I need to do them, period.
Yeah, you haven't encountered the Mama Witch ones.
Yeah, oh, that's true. I also have like a Mama Witch that I need to start soonish.
Yeah,
for a friend.
There are so many Mama Witches that I would love to start.
Yeah, their patterns are really lovely.
Are you ready for a couple more questions? Sorry.
Yes, absolutely. Toot in my chat just said DH also enjoys the bridge mix.
I do enjoy bridge mix.
I think that the bridge mix is okay because like it has like different things.
Yeah, but it's for old people. Nuts. Let's be real honest here. It smells like old people.
It's yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it comes with the territory. We have old people hobbies, like
you need old people snacks. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But yes, I am ready for more questions.
So our next few questions actually are streaming related. We got a few streaming related questions.
Nice.
So the first one is, what made you want to start streaming? Were you nervous at first? And if so, how did you gain confidence?
What made me want to start streaming? I was kind of dissatisfied with my previous job. I was like getting a lot of stress from it, and I also had much more free time in the evenings. And I was finding myself watching some friends that I had that were streamers, and I kept thinking, I'm playing video games anyways.
Yeah.
Why should I not stream them? Like, I think I can, you know, like share that experience with people. And that's kind of like what got me thinking about it. And like I spoke about it with some friends and they were all like, yeah, you should totally do it. So it was kind of like friends really that were already streaming that got me into the idea of streaming. And I wanted to, in a way, spread the joy that I get from playing video games. Yeah. What about you?
Well, were you nervous at first? And if so, how did you gain confidence? Do the rest of the question.
Yes, you're right.
I put you on the spot.
I definitely was nervous. I was so nervous. Like, the first few months, every time I would go to stream, I would have like jitters. Like, before pressing the going live button, I would be like, what if I mess up? Like, everything is on? Like, how do I like speak with people? Like, what if there's too much dead air and stuff like that? I was just like so concerned about everything. And I think that like by doing it over and over, I kind of found my streaming identity. Yeah, my voice basically. Like I know what kind of vibe I want my streams to have. I know my tools, like, OBS, the music that I can play, the games, how I like to stream them and stuff like that. Like the logistics of it, I'd be more confident about it. And I think that like having people who show up consistently to like be part of your community is also like was amazing and really like helped me build confidence. Like
for
seeing over and over again like the same names in chat, being like, damn, these people are coming here to hang out with me, and I feel so lucky that they do choose that.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way about the community. Like the people that I've met through streaming and through doing my videos and stuff, just the community is amazing. And it's always like, I love these people. Like the fact that Gwen calls Toot out on not making progress on a piece cracks me up. The fact that Charles says take easy, also important, and so does Misha, like I love it. It makes me smile every time. It's just, the community is fantastic. So I think I answered the how did I gain confidence, but what made me want to start streaming was you, actually, because you started streaming and I was like, oh, this seems like fun, but I don't know. And then so it was you and it was another streamer called Pastoroni Ravioli, and Pasta had just actually quit her full-time job as a nurse to do streaming full-time. And at the time I was working in healthcare, and we just felt like our experience was very similar and our kind of like unhinged vibe was very similar. So I was like, well, if Pasta can do it, maybe I can do it too. If Moon can do it, I can do it too. So that's what made me think about streaming. And actually I started off as a cozy gaming streamer, and I added in one crafting stream every now and then, just as a special thing. And now all I do is crafting streams. So like you said, it's all about finding your voice and just doing it over and over and over again, and realizing that it's never going to go perfect. You're always going to have issues.
We're live.
I know. And all streaming software is cursed. So
yep. Welcome in, Orchid.
Gwen says, girl, we spent Toot says, Gwen, girl, we spent all day laughing about you asking if I was going to be okay.
It was so funny. They sent me a screenshot of it.
Yeah. Gwen says, to be fair, I was perceiving it as being more that this piece is so big that Toot can only do 1% a day. Oh no. Yeah, no, it was so funny. And also Toot says, I game for the family. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I game very infrequently. So it was difficult for me to keep up the momentum as a cozy gamer. And also there was a lot of pressure to always be playing like the latest games and be playing the newest games and that kind of thing. So yeah, it was a bit of a relief when I moved into crafting streams. The next stream related question is, how effective has a stream schedule been compared to spontaneous streams? All right, good night, Gwen. Gwen's gotta go.
Good night, Gwen.
Bye, Gwen.
Rest lots. Yeah, I wouldn't know because I always had a stream schedule. But I feel that having a schedule benefits me as well as the community, because I feel like some days if it wasn't for the schedule, I would probably get stage fright and not do it, or like like feel, oh, I just want to rest today. And streaming has actually been like such a, like, in a way it is tiring because I do put energy into like entertaining and chatting and playing the game to the best of my abilities, but it also brings me so much energy.
Yeah,
like I've never, when I finish a stream, I'm happy. Like it brings me so much like good vibes and happy energy that like some
I
days,
totally get
even
that.
when I'm not feeling like too good, I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a try. I'll stream, and I usually end up feeling so much better afterwards as well.
Sorry, gonna interrupt you real quick. Bye, Charlie.
Yes, go ahead.
Bye, Charlie.
Bye, Charlie.
Thanks for dropping by.
Yes. And thank you so much, Fury, for the stretch and move.
But yeah,
and Fury says, my voice would probably be just Maple Story for my streams. Well, that's the thing, right? Like,
yeah, some people do
every
that.
streamer is unique. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They can build their brand around doing one game or one genre of games, or being completely variety streamers. Ferris said, I only started doing streams about a month ago, and watching streamers who were candid about things not being perfect and who mess things up made me feel more confident to start. Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I'm always like very upfront with you guys. Like, this is why stream didn't happen. This is the issue I'm having, because like it's never going to go perfect. And especially in our community, I want you guys to know that take easy also important. And if you do need to take it easy, you can do that. Which kind of leads into my answer about the stream schedule. I have always had a stream schedule, because that's like the one piece of advice that most people do, is like be consistent, have a schedule. But with my disability being the way it is, sometimes I find having a schedule too stressful, because if I have to cancel stream because I'm just not physically able to stream that day, I feel awful. Like I feel really guilty for it. I feel guilty for taking that time for myself. So sometimes I feel like if I was just doing spontaneous streams, or I was just streaming when I had the energy for it, both mentally and physically, I might stream more than having to be on for these 4 hours every week on a schedule. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
instead of scheduling my illness around my streams, scheduling my streams around my illness. So, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if that would just mean I would never stream. But yeah. And Cheryl says, we miss you when you miss it, but you have to take care of yourself. Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Yes,
I know you guys understand, and I know you would rather I take the night off if I need it. It's just, I enjoy streams so much, and I feel like we're connecting so much as a community and just having a lovely little gathering together. That's what my streams feel like. It's like we're hanging out together, and I miss it, and I know other people miss it, so yeah.
Yeah.
And Toot reminding us of the wisdom of socks.
Orchid says, I love you both. We love you too, Orchid.
We love you, Orchid. Run fun. Take easy, also important. Tie laces. Sleep only on left side.
Yes.
Okay, the final question about streaming. Thank you so much for the follow, Ferris. The final question about streaming comes from Almighty Titty. Have you worn wig? Is this a meme I don't get?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Am I just like an ancient boomer?
Nope. I didn't know about it either. He had to explain it to me. It was from an interview, like a spoof interview that they did for Lord of the Rings. And there was like a whole like part of it that was just like asking the actor that played Frodo if like he's worn wigs over and over again. And
that's so weird.
Yeah,
So I assume that it was a question that was based on a meme that I just didn't get. But I actually prepared an answer for this. And my answer is in the form of a story time. Ooh. So my great-grandmother, she was an awesome woman. She lived to the age of 97. And
amazing.
Yeah, she was very cool. And we used to visit her a lot when we were kids. And so she lost all, like, her hair went very thin, you know, when she was in her 70s, and she felt self-conscious about it. So she started wearing wigs, and they were kind of like, they were really obviously wigs. You know what I mean? Like, these were not subtle wigs. And so my younger sister, who loved playing dress up, said to my great-grandmother one day when we were there, just, can I have your wig?
No.
Like,
Oh no.
just, and like in the family, it was very much like, don't talk about the wig. Like, we don't want to embarrass her.
Yeah, it was a taboo.
Yeah, but my sister was like 5 or 6, and she was like, "Can I have your wig?" And my grandmother bust out laughing and took the wig off her head and gave it to her.
Aww, that's so sweet.
We still have that wig. It's in with
Aww.
our like costume trunk in my parents' house.
That is adorable.
So yes, I have worn a wig, and it belonged to my great grandmother.
That is so cute. Have you worn a wig in any other context?
I don't think so. I think that's the only wig I've ever worn. Like, I mean, I'm sure I put one on to be silly in a costume shop or something.
Yeah, I don't think I've worn a wig for like, other than just trying it on for fun.
Yeah.
Because like when I was in high school, I did 3 years of drama. I was in theater for 3 years, and I never had a character that wore wigs, but like obviously like there were some, and so like I would like, you know, people would like steal the costumes of other people and fool around with them, so
yeah, like I'm sure I've worn a wig in that context, but do I remember? No. So instead enjoy this story about my great grandmother.
That's so sweet. That's so cute. I love.
So yeah, let's see. I'm gonna do another break in about 10 minutes. So let's see if we can get a couple more questions in. I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got 11 questions left.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so back to crafting. So those were our streaming questions. And like I said, if you guys in chat have any other questions while we're talking about stuff, absolutely let us know.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So here's one for both of us. How many whips do you currently have?
Ooh. So, do you want to start? Because I know that your number of whips has decreased significantly.
So
which is incredible to me.
So I have Bella. I have 3 whips that I am actively working on. 1 shop sample, which I don't really consider a whip because it's more like work related. 1 shop sample, and then I have 3 which are in deep hibernation, probably never going to get finished. So I consider myself to have 3 to 4 whips at any given moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is impressive because when you started streaming, we knew you to be a whip hoarder.
A couple years ago, I was known as the king of an unsustainable number of whips. So the fact that I have gotten down to 4-ish whips and stayed there for a while, like if you consider the ones that I started but I'm never going to finish, I do have 7, which is not a lot, but it seems like a lot. But yeah.
It's funny because we were talking about this at some point, but like the knitting community's version of too many whips versus the cross-stitch community version of too many whips is very different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is. Like in the knitting community, it's very common to only have 1 or 2 whips. Whereas if you have more than like 5 or 6, that's considered a lot of whips. Whereas in the cross-stitch community, it's more common to have between 30 and 100. So
which always baffles me. Like that's such an
right?
insane number. But that's really what you see on FlossTube, like on YouTube videos.
The Crow Stitcher has over 200 whips.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I can't.
Charles says, what about the project that shall not be named? I counted that in the 3 projects that probably aren't going to get finished in the form that they are. And Deontay says, out of curiosity, why will you never finish them? I fell out of love with them. Celtic Witch, she's her own story. But the other 2 are Detective Todeschi from Mama Witch And I kind of started him for the sake of having a new start on the Wheel of Whips, and I wasn't really feeling it. I might at some point in the future restart him, but I'm only like 100 stitches in, so I'm just gonna... the other one is a sampler, the Spooktacular sampler, and I don't know, I just don't like it anymore. There's something about the way that the house in the middle and the grass, like, I haven't thrown it out. I might pull it out at some future point and see what I can do to change the pattern to make it like enjoyable again. But at the moment I'm just not concerned about it. Like, I'm not weighing on me. I'm not feeling any need to do anything with them. So yeah, so how many whips do you have, Moon?
I actually whipped down a bit recently. I had Baffy, Silly Mates, Deadly Aquarium, Unseelie, plus some more. But I've actually finished the gecko that I was waiting for Floss. So that I got to finish there. I finished... Apologies, I yawned.
I was gonna say bless you. It sounded like a little tiny sneeze.
I had a gift stitching that I had in progress and I hadn't touched in months, so I finished that as well. So that was 2 like small finishes that I could knock off my list. And I'm making so much progress on Baffy currently and on Silly Mates, which are going to be done very soon. So I'm excited to have that remove that from my list of whips, have those finished. So currently what I have as whips are Silly Mates, Baffy, Unseelie, and Deadly Aquarium, because I haven't started Rose Library yet. So I only have 4 whips right now.
Yeah, so we have about the same number of whips. Yeah. Like, if you consider only the ones that I'm doing actively. Quarter Stitch raises a good point. Part of me wonders if the pressure to show new things and keep up with popular new patterns leads floss tubers to have more than if they weren't on FlossTube. I think that is definitely a phenomenon. I think it is something that I fell victim to when I was starting my channel. There is definitely a pressure to produce. And I do a FlossTube episode every 2 weeks, and I haven't really talked about this, but I might be moving to a once every month schedule instead of every 2 weeks. But there definitely is, like, if I feel like I haven't accomplished anything in the 2 weeks, I feel like I have to like rush and finish something really quickly so I have something to show. So I think that definitely does play a part in it. And also, if you watch a lot of FlossTube, you see a lot of beautiful patterns that you really need to start right away. So I think it's a function of both needing to show something new and also a function of watching a lot of FlossTube.
That is really interesting because it hadn't even crossed my mind. Like, as just a watcher of FlossTubes, like I'm not a FlossTuber in any way. So it never crossed my mind that like being in the scene itself would be like kind of a enabling or like producing an insane amount of whips.
Yeah, I think that's, and especially the more Crafty Gaming Jamie spoke about this, and when they started stitching, she only had 1 or 2 whips, and as she watched FlossTube, she saw people with more whips, and so she's like, okay, well, it's okay if I have just 1 or 2 more things. So like, if you see someone like Jamie who has like 30 whips, you're like, okay, I only have 4, I can start another one, that's not too bad. And then it kind of spirals from there.
Yep, that's really interesting because you had that effect on me.
Yeah, I tempted you.
Yes, before DH got me into the multi-whip camp, I was a serial monogamous stitcher, just like Toot. I would stitch on one thing only at a time and finish it before I started anything else. And the only time that I hadn't done that beforehand was when I was waiting for floss, I believe, for my Gengar piece. So I started my mushroom piece. That was the one that I had queued after. In the meantime, so at that point I had 2 whips, but one I had started only because I was missing some floss, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that the influence of like
others,
it's totally okay to have some more whips and look at all those beautiful patterns is
I know.
definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Pure pressure.
All right. Before we get into the next question, I am going to take my 3-minute break.
Absolutely.
So if you are watching me on Twitch, I'm going to run 3 minutes of ads. If you are watching me on YouTube, just chill, enjoy the music. I'm going to deafen Moon. You can go grab a snack, grab a drink, whatever you need to do. Moon, I will see you back in 3 minutes.
Perfect.
All right.
I'll see you.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you got a good stretch in. If you usually watch my stream, we usually wrap up at 8:30, but because we started a little bit later to accommodate Moon's schedule, we're going to go until 9 tonight, just FYI. So let's check back in with Moon, see what she's up to. Hello.
Hello, welcome back.
Maybe I should just go, hello, everyone, and get Yuna to come over.
She would, 100%.
No, right?
The other day, I don't remember why, but I was talking in a baby voice, and like, she came running, and I was like, I wasn't even talking to you, but hi. Like, I've just conditioned her to, like, this is the voice I talk to you in.
You know, on my stream while you were giving her treats, I had you up, like, in the main window, so we could all enjoy the cuteness that is Yuna.
Beyonce says also, just in general, the more threads you overlap, the stronger it will become, similar to how one piece of spaghetti is easy to break, but a handful is harder. That's very true. That's a good point, Beyonce. Because I was answering Fury's question about
the bracelet making question?
Yeah. 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 That's a good point that you make, Beyonce.
Yeah, like one individual strand of cotton is quite easy to snap, but the more you add, especially once you like get it wet and you wear it a little bit and it like felts together.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was getting to.
Okay. Early is here with us. Actually, I said goodbye to you and I muted, and then the great cat war broke out on my desk. I had 3 cats peacefully curled up on my desk, and then I don't know, someone's tail touched someone else in the wrong way and they exploded. Like, it was just like sudden cat fight that ended in 2 seconds. So Early is the last cat remaining on the desk.
She's the victor.
Yeah, let me see if I can get her. Okay, you can kind of see her on my screen now.
But
yeah. But yeah, so yeah, like, it was the second that I muted, there was thumps and yowls going on over here.
What a timely war.
I know, they were very nice waiting for me to mute. Right. So back my list of questions. So we talked about how many whips we both have. So I've got 4, you've got 4. What is your plan of attack for working on multiple whips? Like, what is your system for management?
I don't have one. Yeah, the reason why I think I ended up with so many whips is because I had something that I wasn't finished with and I wanted to do another thing, or like I had a project that required for me to follow the pattern closely, but I wanted to take something that I could be a bit more on the go. So that was my goal, to have like maybe like a few but not too many. And then Deadly Aquarium kind of like threw a wrench in my plans, in the sense that like I wanted to stay on schedule, and for to be able to stay on schedule, I basically had to stitch exclusively on Deadly Aquarium. So my other whips were not getting any work done on them, and I was getting a bit frustrated about that, because my plan of having different whips that one I could take on the go, or like work on if I felt like doing a bit more color changes, or work on more if I had more color blocks that I wanted to work on, kind of fell off. And so I'm just currently like whipping down, finishing the projects that I have so that I can get back to I suppose a more manageable for me a number of whips.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I don't really have a technique to manage whips, because I never thought that I would have this many.
Very true. As for myself, I'm kind of the same way in that I like to have like, I don't want to have multiple whips of the same type. I like having like a smaller one and a bigger one, and one that's simpler and one that's more difficult, that kind of thing. So really, I kind of stitch on vibes, because I know, but at the same time, I know that I just started, for example, the Swamp Coven one, and that's a really fun project, but I started it because I didn't have a small project. But if I work on that exclusively, I'll finish it in like 5 days, and then I'll be right back in the boat I was before. You know what I mean? So, I do try and get a bit of a rotation going. One thing that my community does that we've really embraced is the Wheel of Whips, which is basically like you put, I did it with a wheel spinner, but now we have a channel in my server that's like a random number generator. So you have all of your current works in progress or chores. We also like interspersed it with chores on a wheel, and then you spin it, and whatever the wheel dictates is what you do, what you work on. And thank you, Toot, for putting up the link to the Discord there. So yeah, so now you can do that like right inside my Discord because a lot of people are using the same system. So I do that sometimes if like I'm just not sure what I'm going to work on. But generally I try to work on everything in a day, or everything in, or at least get quite a few stitches in a week, without letting anything really languish.
I see.
So like Wheel of Whips and then vibes, I think would be my answer to this question.
Vibes.
And then we got a really good one from Des, which I liked. And that question was, when you get in a rut or an artist block, what are some things you do to overcome it?
For me, usually when I get in a rut, there's a reason for the rut. Sometimes it's because I don't have the energy required to work on a project, which makes me feel like frustrated because it's like, I want to do this thing, why can't I do it? And so that's usually like the reason why I don't why I struggle with like blocks, really. And then it's more like when I realize that is the reason why, it's kind of like, okay, Moon, look at what other needs that you have that aren't currently met and focus on that, because as much as cross stitch is one of your special interests, you can't like just dive into that if your body is tired, if your body is hungry, if you know.
That is such a healthy way to handle it.
So most of the time that's why I get into ruts of like, I want to do cross stitch but I don't know what to work on, or like I want to work on cross stitch but I also don't feel like it at the same time, and it's like the frustration of like, I want to do something but I can't, or like I want to do something but it's like nothing's working. That is usually why. The other thing that I've noticed is it kind of like is a subcategory of executive dysfunction. Oh, hi, Anna. And that is more like, oh, like I'm looking at this project and I know that this project would benefit from being worked on, but I don't feel like working on it. Or like, I really want to work on this project, but something is stopping me right now. And then again, it's kind of like trying to look at what the deeper reason why I feel that way, which for Deadly Aquarium, I haven't touched it in like literal months. And you know the reason why?
Why?
I have to move the frame.
Yeah,
so I know that
that's a familiar
like I'm in a rut.
struggle.
I'm in a rut with Deadly Aquarium solely because I don't want to move the frame. So I know that once I get that done, I'll be okay with it.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I don't want to touch it because I have to move the freaking frame.
So Moon's answer was like introspection and self-care. That's a great answer, and I feel a little bit silly because my answer is not that.
That is perfectly fine. Because for me, like the things that I work on, right, are like cross-stitch projects, whereas you of course have also designing projects that require different creative juices.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to hear how that is for you.
So, I mean, sometimes it is something as simple as I need to move the frame and that's why I don't want to work on it. in which case, like, just move. I just have to like frickin' frame, which I usually get accomplished by complaining about it to somebody and then doing it.
Yeah.
The other thing that I do, and like this is for all crafts, if I start to feel kind of my crafty mojo waning, I will not try and force it. I won't pick up a project. Some people say start something new, but that I find that that's really iffy, hit or miss. What I do is I go through my supplies. I like do a tidy of my supplies. I reorganize stuff. I, you know, see what I'm missing, do some cataloging, do some inventorying, make sure all my notes are up to date. I'll go through my patterns and make sure those are all up to date and in the right place. And then usually just handling my supplies and taking a look at like the cool stuff I could make. Usually that kind of shakes something loose for me. In terms of like, oh yeah, I really did want to work on this, or oh, I'm really excited to get to use this supply, so I should work on this thing. So that's kind of what I do if I know I want to craft something, but I'm not feeling it, but I know I want to feel it. I'll go and I'll play with my stuff.
That's really cool because I also I suppose like subconsciously do this because I've definitely like before like been like, oh, like I would like to cross stitch, but you know I'm not feeling it, so then I will reorganize my floss boxes, because the way that I keep my floss is I have a work in progress floss box and then I have my stash. So like I'll, you know, look at my whip box and like put things away and like stuff like that, and just that brings me some satisfaction from,
yeah, because
like,
you're kind of still working on the craft that you enjoy without working on it. Yeah
exactly. And
that's usually my advice when someone's in a bit of a rut, because like a lot of people say, oh, try something new, and it's like then usually you just end up with another whip that you're not working.
Yep, exactly. Like I find that, yeah, like I was saying, like if I don't want to work on a project, usually there's a reason for it. It's not just like vibes, like there's a reason. And Beyonce says, have y'all considered scroll frames? I find it works well for the bigger projects since you just roll it instead of having to move the frame.
I have considered them. Sorry, go ahead, Moon.
I was gonna say I haven't considered them because they kind of scare me. Because like you have to staple some of them you have to staple the fabric to them, and they kind of spook me for that.
They are very permanent, you know what I mean? Like, something's set up on the frame, on the scroll frame, it's difficult to get it off the scroll frame.
Yeah, like you can't really like, oh, I'm just gonna like take out this full coverage to swap it to another full coverage just so that I can work on it today. Yeah. Kind of thing.
And I think you and I both have the same kind of positional, logistical problem in that we do most of our stitching at our desks. So having a scroll frame would be more difficult than if we were doing it like on a... My captions just said squirrel frame.
Squirrel frame.
Would make it more difficult than if we were sitting on a couch or in an armchair or something like that.
Where we can have it on our lap fully.
Yeah. So I think like I'm definitely interested in them, but I don't know if I'm interested enough in them to invest in one. I know that Michael's sells a small like starter one for like $20, but it's never in stock anywhere. So yeah. And Beyonce says
I don't have the staple one. I have the clip one. So I didn't know that they were like a different attachment methods for scroll frames. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's good to know. And in my chat, Beyonce said, I'm 100% in the try something new group. It's a problem. Oh, the Michaels one broke really fast, Beyonce says. Okay.
Oh, good to know. Unfortunately, good to know.
Because I was really considering it for Toot when they were working on The
hyena?
Nope. The Audrey 2 one. The big one. Bear says, yeah, I have one that has clips, but the same thing has been in it for a while because I stitch at my desk a lot too. Yeah, this is like my setup for stream. I'm just putting up a camera. Like, this is how I actually stitch. My computer's here, I'm here, my cat's here. My tablet with my pattern is there. Yes, Deonta, that would be helpful. Deonta says I can send you the link to the one that I bought. Yeah, even if you want to pop it in one of the Discords, that would be fantastic.
Yes.
I'm just moving my screen down a little bit so you guys can see Early is hanging out on my keyboard.
Oh, Anna says, see you later, Stitchers. Gonna watch some telly. Take care.
Bye, Anna.
Have a good time,
Have
Anna.
a good night.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah. All right. I think the next question, I think we ran that one through. So self-care and playing with our eyes are the two answers.
Yes.
So the next one up is, what is a designer that you haven't stitched a piece from yet, but you really want to?
For me, that would be Mama Stitch Cross Stitch. There are so many of their patterns that are absolutely gorgeous and completely my aesthetic. And I just haven't gotten around. I haven't at all.
Yeah, that's surprising to me because we have so many of them.
I know, we do, but I haven't touched one of their designs yet. The banjo possum that I'm gonna stitch for Anna is gonna be my first one, actually.
Oh, nice. And Farrah
so
says,
I am excited
hello, Kitty.
Hello, Kitty.
Yeah,
Nice.
this is Early. Early is usually my my buddy here on stream. Her full name is Earl Jean Grey, but we call her Early for short. Yeah. Oh, it's cool. Yeah. Mama Witch is so good. Like, I really love her patterns. And she's got such a wide range of topics too, that I think pretty much anyone could find something they would like to stitch from her.
Absolutely.
She's also a cinnamon roll. I've talked to her a few times over Instagram DMs. And if you're in her Patreon, you can message her there. And she's just really nice.
Hi, Yuna. Yuna's rubbing up against my stand and making it move.
Cheryl says kitties. Yes, most of our cats are named after teas. We've got Earl Jean Grey, Orange Julius Pico, of course. There is Prince Darian Eric Darjeeling, who is Gigi. Binks is Emily Lapsang Binks. We have Genmaicha, the corn snake. So yeah, we got a tea theme. And then Pao, the tortoise, is named after Da Hong Pao, which is a type of tea called that translates as big red robe. Ferris's kitty is named Kiara, and she has a perch in the window next to my desk so she can sit with me and not be on my keyboard. I would love it if that worked. Early has, so my desk is quite large. Early could curl up over here. She could curl up over there. She could curl up over there. She's got a bed there. She's got a bed there. No, this is the only place she wants to be. If I don't put my keyboard here, and I push it back, she will curl up between the keyboard and me. So this is the only place she is happy.
I could get to be with you.
Charles says you could get a second keyboard and let her sleep on it. A decoy keyboard. That's a great idea. I do have some like extra keyboards. Maybe I'll just put like a keyboard behind my real keyboard. That's a fantastic idea, honestly.
That would be so funny if it actually works.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll do that experiment tomorrow. I'll get you a new pillow, Earls. Early says F11, F11, F11. Aw, Yanni baby. She's so stinking cute though, and it's really cute that she just needs to be near me.
It is. It's adorable.
Anyway, yeah, question. I asked a question. I didn't answer a question. For me, it's actually Pigeon Coop Knits. Pigeon Coop Designs, not knits. Wow, what am I saying anymore? Early. Pigeon Coop Designs. Have you seen any of his stuff?
I don't think I have, no.
He's a male designer. He's from Ontario. I believe he's from Toronto. Like, I think he's from Toronto just based on the number of Toronto specific patterns he has in his shop. But he just put out a book. It's called like Stitching the Forest or something like that.
Ooh.
And I really like his whole aesthetic and vibe because he does like nature and forest stuff, but he incorporates like trying to like quilting type motifs, or like for me I would say it's more like Norwegian sweater motifs into the landscapes and the birds and things like that. It's a really cool aesthetic, and I'd love to stitch one of his pieces, but I haven't yet. Like I've been eyeing his stuff. I think I would want to get my hands on a copy of the book because I've seen some. I saw a flip through of it, and it looked really good. So I requested that the Toronto Library get a copy of the book so that I can borrow it. But
very smart.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll actually happen or not, but you can always request.
That is really nice. I have to unstitch some things because I made a knot.
Oh no. And
it's like not coming out.
You could not?
Yeah.
And I mean, another designer I don't know if this counts as a designer, but another artist I want to do a piece from is Ivy Dollamore, the one who did Rose Library. Like
I thought about like mentioning her, but like I was like, I already mentioned I was gonna do
like Rose Library. I always feel like there's like
in the very near future.
There's one category for smalls, and then there's one category for like full coverages, and it's very difficult to answer the same question for both of, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that like down the line I would really love to do some more I'm blanking out. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Because her art is just amazing. And like I was so excited, like kind of recently, a few weeks ago, you told me that like she had new designs on Thread Geeks, and I was just like, oh my god, that means they keep like purchasing the patterns, like the rights for her. So like maybe one day there's gonna be like more really cool ones that I will love like even more. Like I want all of her art to be cross-stitchable.
I know, right? So we're gonna get wrapped up here in a few minutes, but there is one more question that I would like to ask you, and I think this is a good one to end on, and that is, what tips would you give to a newbie?
I would say don't be afraid to tackle bigger pieces or pieces that look complicated because you just started. Because if you're someone who's very driven by motivation or dopamine, then doing that one piece that you really want to do is what is going to get you to improve. Because if you, I don't know, go and do a smaller piece just to practice, it's not going to feel as good. It's not going to feel as interesting as you're not going to feel as passionate about it. So I think that, like, you know, even if it's a big piece, even if it's daunting, it's your first one, give yourself the right to start it. It's okay.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
That would be my tip.
I would definitely agree. Like, you're just making little X's on fabric. That's it. And the way that you make those X's is the way that you learn. I think my biggest tip for newbies, and like there's so many tips we could give about, like, oh, use this supplier, try this, or try this designer. I think my biggest tip is fuck around and find out. Like,
Yeah,
don't be
absolutely.
afraid to try stuff. If you have to rip it out, you have to rip it out. If you cut the fabric too small, you cut the fabric too small. Don't be afraid to mess around and try different things, try different styles, try different techniques. Like we mentioned, Danish versus English. If you've only ever stitched Danish, try English. If you've only ever done full coverage, try doing a small. If you've only ever worked on 14 count, try doing a different count. Like, mess around and find out what works for you, and don't be afraid to experiment even if you're gonna fail, because failure is just the way that we learn and the way that we figure out ways that things don't work for us. So yeah, I always say, like, just try it, just mess around. Like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and try it again. So
and yeah, like, it's especially true because, like, I think for many hobbies, we're kind of always worried about wasting material. And, like, for sure it's still true about cross stitch, but give yourself that space, because, you know, like, a skein of floss is affordable, and it's not one piece of a 6-thread floss that's going to set you back, you know? So give yourself that room to experiment.
Yeah, just
Here,
mess
he
around.
says, I love that advice. Mess around and find out.
Yep. And that's honestly my advice for pretty much anyone trying any craft, is, like, just do a little bit of basic research first, but don't be afraid to dive in. Just mess around and find out. And Toot has put up the link to stitchwit.ca in my chat. So if you are looking for cross-stitch supplies to mess around with, you can use stitchwit.ca. Which is our favorite. Like, I'm not sponsored or anything, they're just my favorite online needlework store. So
yes, absolutely. I will double down on this because I've only had good experiences with Heather, who's the owner of Stitchwit. Like, amazing, just formidable customer service, speedy and free shipping.
Yep.
She has so many things in stock. Amazing.
Yeah,
super duper recommend Heather. Yeah.
Great. Well, it's 9, which means I have to sign off. Are you going to keep going, or are you...
No, I am going to sign off as well.
Okay, and I will let you know who we're rating out to in a moment. But thank you so much for joining me, Moon, and thank you so much for answering all of the wonderful questions
it was so much fun
for us. Yeah, this was great. Yeah. And I have more questions left over for next time.
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
Yeah, so if you guys do have any questions for us in the meantime, we both have Discord servers. My link is going to be in my chat, and Moon's link is going to be in Moon's chat. You can always drop a question there. You can reach us all the time, everywhere. We're always on Discord. We're chronically online.
Yeah, we are chronically online, as the youth says.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna hop
Toot
off.
Says,
with
see
Moon.
you never, DH.
I'm gonna hop off with Moon. My chat is saying bye, Moon. Goodbye, Moon. And
goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Chat. It was lovely. All right, bye, Moon. We'll see you in a second.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So yes, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight, me and Moon. This was so much fun. Toot is going to put up a bunch of links in both of the chats. I would like everyone who is currently watching on YouTube to say goodbye to everyone who's watching on Twitch. Everyone who's watching on Twitch to say goodbye to everyone who's watching on YouTube. And we will, yeah. We will, yeah. That's just the thing I'm doing. I got squirreled by something. Okay. If you're currently watching on Twitch, come follow us on YouTube. If you're currently watching us on YouTube, come follow us on Twitch. Tiny Witch Sal is still open. We are 1 week away from launching. And if you guys still have not signed up, you can sign up. And there is going to be a special schedule of events going up on Sunday. I just have to finalize the details. We're going to be doing some special streams and community hangouts and stuff like that for the Sal. So that's going to be fun. Toot streaming 3 mornings a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Thank you, Toot. I was just about to do that. And yeah, I think that is everything I have to talk to you about. So we're going to say goodbye to YouTube. My friends, I will see you in the Discord. I will see you in the coffee shop. I will see you in the comment section. I'll see you in the videos. But most importantly, my friends, I will see you in my heart. All right. Bye, YouTube. Bye-bye.